What's up? What's up? What's up? See who's gonna come into the building. Excuse me. See what's up? What's up? What's up? Who do we have so far? Give me a woo if you're in the building. Let me know you're here living. See what we got going on real quick, like.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
What's up? What's up? What's up? Coming full force now? Hopefully we do. Let me know who's in the chat. Shout out to Otterson MC for that one, boy.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Doing good here. How about with you?
Sound like you underwater for some reason.
Oh, I'm using my headset. Heck with it.
What about now?
How's that? This better?
Hold up. Say something now?
This better?
Nah, same way.
Oh, same way? I'll go out and come back in. Stand by.
All right. Now, got some things to talk about. Got some things that probably need to be said. We're going to have a big announcement from the Snowman. See what he could do. But also, I've been listening to some Coleon Noir and listening to his debates with people who are against, or for stricter gun laws. It's kind of funny, right? Yep.
How's this?
Thing.
Oh, God. That's about what I have right now. Because I'm using my phone and not my computer. Yes.
It's about the same. I don't know if it's something on my end or what's going on. But I'll say this. When it comes to gun laws, I live in a city that has very strict gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
But both are hella violent. Um, I think around the country, we've been seeing an increase in gun laws.
Yeah, and all of them lately.
And fundamentally, I think people are being disingenuous about it.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that they think that it's going to make it harder for a criminal to get a gun by increasing the law. Do you know how fast I could get an AK on the street or a handgun?
Yep.
Give me $600 to $1,000 and I can make it happen.
And
Like the electric.
I'm from the third largest market in the country. I don't even have to explain anything else.
Hmm. He said they got some fucked up gun laws. Got sent to the psych ward for being suicidal,
Yeah.
and I can't get one. Oh yeah, they're gonna get you for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Hell, people in Michigan City thought I was going to purchase a gun when I was off my rocker, and it just took
you still
someone.
sounding sound like you got bubbles in your mic or something underwater.
Oh my gosh! Here, let me check my settings.
I think the craziness about it is that you know I don't know what to do about the suicidal thing. Yeah, they're gonna hit you with that, and
Mm-hmm.
reasonably so.
How's
Hate to say it,
how's
but
this? Is
reasonably
this
so.
better?
The same.
Doggone it!
I just
Because
think that
I
one.
got this. I got the setting on a wired headset because I'm wired through my mixer.
Yeah. Is the YouTube on in the back?
No.
Make
Oh,
sure
you know
that's cut
what?
off.
Oh, you know what?
Make sure that.
Let me do a full reset, and I'll come back.
All right. But I'll say this. A lot of people don't understand that your gun laws are not even reasonable. They really aren't. If you got a felon or a criminal with a gun, they could go off the black market. You don't have how many criminals actually legally buy their guns? Very few. Very few. Even like the last show I did when I talked about active shooters. Let's ban the AR-15 when 70% of your crimes and mass shootings were by handguns. Make that make sense. I'm wondering why you got politicians who don't know a damn thing about a gun get to choose whether we get them or not. I was listening to Coleon Noir debate this guy who was anti-gun from Boston, I guess Massachusetts, and the guy was very disingenuous about a lot of shit. He believes that there should be a national registry, but if you're going to have a national registry for, he said, but just like you have it for your car or for your license. So I can drive my Maryland registered car in another state. I could even drive in another state because of a permit, the driver's license, in the state of Maryland. Because if you're going to say you want a national registry, then you're going to have a national gun permit. Oh, no, we shouldn't do that. I mean, you said it should be just like that, but see what happens when people don't think out their old shit? It's kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, you got a bunch of people making laws who live in nice gated communities, mansions, and shit like that, who tells you you don't need a gun, even though I'm protected by guns and people with them. But you going to work and you got to live because of your social economic status. You got to live in some of the worst neighborhoods known to man. You don't need a gun, buddy. What you need to do is call the police. They can clean up your body after they get done what they want to do to you. Plot thickens, right? You know, you have Joe Biden saying, well, a 9mm can shoot the lungs out. I'm like, when y'all vote motherfuckers in, do y'all vote people with brains? Do y'all really vote people who actually done ballistics testing, actually read the material? But see, this is the reason why I think that anybody who's an elected official should go to the military, fire, or police first. You should actually have a record of service. Because these politicians today don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to live in a city like Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Richmond, New York, where people are getting robbed by guns every day being shot at. Andrew said, seeing what's going on in Canada, Biden would have a wet dream if he could do that. Here to the U.S., not happening. As a Marine veteran, I'll defend the Constitution. Facts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, Andrew. I've defended everybody's rights on several occasions, even those I don't agree with. That's the beautiful part about the Constitution. And to undermine it in such a way, think about it. We have a Constitution, even though I think it's silly why we had to put it in the Constitution. We abolished slavery. We put very important things in our Constitution to be defended, like people's freedoms, their civil liberties, the ability to defend yourself. What's up, Magbones? Hey, let's give it a test. How you sound, Snowman?
How's this? I've reset my phone.
It's the same thing.
Doggone.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird because I did it this morning, wired through my mixer with no problem, and now I am just using my phone. I rebooted my phone.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my mixer. Stand by.
All right. Well, just in case you got to fix it, I'll hold the reins till you're able to talk.
Okay.
All right.
This is what I got. This is what I got right now, and I'm wired through my mixer. using
All
the
right.
same setup that I use in the morning.
I don't know what's going on. But like I was
My
saying, folks. All right. I got it for you. What state do you live in? I mean, you got to thank the loner. One, you're
mm-hmm.
going to have to prove that you're mentally in a competent state. Two, you're going to have to go by whatever your state guidelines say
Yep.
and get a background check.
And the background check is where a lot of people get destroyed in trying to get guns.
Never know. We already got background checks.
Mm-hmm.
The craziness about it is, Canada getting rid of their guns, just like other countries do, like in England. They have a gun ban.
Right. Right.
Look what happened to what this one guy did. He said, "Fuck a gun ban," and unfortunately, I mean, how old are you now? And you got to get that situation solved with your state.
Mm-hmm.
That time in England when you had that radical guy hit a person with a car, then pretty much almost decapitate him with a knife.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Remember the same day that Sandy Hook happened?
Mm-hmm.
A guy in China stabbed 26 people. You got to
Wow.
think about that. And that's with a knife. So
Mm-hmm.
you think if the insane, the crazy, the evil people are gonna stop doing shit because you get rid of guns? How many people got their guns illegally?
Mm-hmm.
So
More
we
to the
have to
point,
make
how many people continue to get guns illegally?
yeah. So you're telling me that mom and dad come home from work, hard-working people, they don't have the right to defend themselves from somebody trying to mug them? But it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird because I wonder how all those people who are in politics, if they had to live on fucking, what is it, Rob? Greenmount in 2024? Imagine if your elected officials had to live on Greenmount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'd be begging for a gun every second, or North
Yeah,
Avenue.
they would. Yeah, they would.
Imagine if they had to live over Park Heights. Oh yeah, Eager Street. You would need
Imagine if they had to live in old Cabrini Green back in Chicago.
Imagine if they had to live in Chicago, the
Period.
Bronx, Brooklyn. And that's the reason why I say a lot of gun laws are actually racist. The
Mm-hmm.
places where you need to protect yourself, where you're going to end up being more victimized, you can't.
Which puts even more people and situations in peril.
Yeah,
People in living situations are in even more peril because the gun laws can be racist.
yeah. Think about it, right? Even though I'm a member of the NRA, but the NRA needs to come out and publicly state the NRA should publicly state how racist these fucking laws are.
They need to, but they won't because it'll take away their cash cow.
Yeah, not a large amount of people who go back and forth to work, got kids, don't want to fucking shoot up a fucking block.
Right.
They don't want to. But yet, let's say you're trying to get a job with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You need it for armed security.
Definitely
How?
that.
I mean, the state needs to do something. I mean, unless you're going to increase police presence, unless you're going to give us the amount of police in the country like we have in New York, which they have 35,000, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
which obviously is not enough.
And the numbers seem to dwindle. That's the
Yeah.
scary part. The numbers seem to dwindle.
But yeah, they keep on, which I think is real disingenuous, they keep on using these shooters
To paint their narrative.
to plant, to plant their narratives and shit
Mm-hmm.
about gun laws. I'm like, yo,
This is all this right now. All this is a narrative paint.
because either you're going to do two things. Either you're going to, one, arm the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody makes excuses. What if the teacher reacts a certain way to a student? A lot of students in fucking high school are violent as shit. Y'all don't have a problem with students fucking knocking each other over with tables and chairs? Or you're going to have to increase and have school police with their firearms in the schools,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the dumbest things ever. Well, school police, well, in Baltimore City, school police can't go inside the schools with their guns. They got to stay on the outside. Okay. No sense does that ever make.
None.
They only could come in for an emergency. Guess what? You live in Baltimore. You're surrounded by all kinds of fucked up shit and violence. And now you want
Mm-hmm.
to say, what about the children? Get the fuck out of here.
That's ass backwards.
But
That's
this is
ass
once
backwards
again,
because the children were supposed to be the priority anyway. And yet they're not. They're not acting like it. They're not acting like it, and they're not. They're not putting them first.
like, I'm sorry. Cities like Baltimore, I'm sorry. You might need a Republican mayor.
Mm-hmm.
A change of pace. These liberal ass laws allow people to get shot the fuck up. Now you got people bold to go into classrooms or schools or shopping centers and light everybody the fuck up.
Yep. At the drop of a hat. At the drop of a hat.
What's better for home defense, 9 mil or 45 ACP?
Mm.
It's the gun that works.
Yes. The
Nobody's
gun
gonna
that
say,
the gun that can
You
fire.
got a 9 mil. I'm gonna go inside your. You got a 9 mil. That'll do nothing to me. No, nobody wants to get shot by anything.
Exactly.
But I mean, you gotta have realistic shit going on, man.
Mm-hmm. And everything needs to be defined. We've spoken about this before. Everything needs to be defined.
But at the same time, look at we're breeding. We're
Mm-hmm.
breeding a bunch of people in a very cowardly stance in our country.
That gets
Where
even
guess
more
what?
cowardly by the moment.
You should have people who are trained sufficiently and good mental status who can protect themselves and each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've proven it that criminals do not go to places where there's less crime. They actually go to these places and plan them out because there's no
Mm-hmm.
opposition.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for some of you who live in New Jersey shit. That
Yeah,
place is a
man.
shit show.
And gets
That
even,
place
and
that
it
place
gets to
is a
be
real
even,
shit show.
and is becoming an even bigger shit show by the moment.
We need stronger. We need stronger gun laws, even though y'all breeding, y'all producing murder after murder after murder. How the gun laws working for you?
If they're working at all. If they're working at all.
But yet,
Because,
nobody wants to sit down and have a good debate and see what can actually be done to make people safer. Nope,
mm-hmm,
nope,
nobody
nope.
wants to do that. Nobody wants to have a necessary conversation about it.
Because let's face it, it's only the beginning of summer, damn near.
Mm-hmm.
It's only gonna get hotter.
Yep. And it's only going to get crazier,
It's stupid as fuck.
to say the least.
You know, you got another. It really doesn't make any sense because when we look at our crimes, we look at our robberies, we look at our burglaries, a lot of shit could have been prevented.
Preach that again. Preach that
A lot of
again.
shit could have. Night Bones, what's up?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? I'm chilling in Dallas, Texas. Hey, listen, as far as gun laws are concerned, for the gun laws to be in my benefit as a citizen, law-abiding citizen, the best place to live in concerning gun laws is in Texas, correct? Because Texas is like an open and carry state. Hey,
How
oh,
many states are there that are open that are open and carry right now?
well, there's Texas, there's Florida.
I
That's the
thought
two
I,
that I know of.
I thought Florida was one of them.
Yeah, because Texas and Florida also have your stand your ground law, and I just
Yeah.
found out when I was being licensed to be an armed security guard and personal protection expert that
Mm-hmm.
Texas has passed a law to where you don't necessarily need to have a concealed license to carry a firearm.
How long
So
did
now
it?
check this.
How
Hmm?
long did that
So
training take you?
well, I had training before in Arkansas, so
Mm-hmm.
I was already familiar with it. I just had to read between the lines concerning the difference. Well, the thing that was easy, both Arkansas and Texas are Republican states. So when I
Gotcha.
went to Texas, I did some diligent studying, and the thing was, I remember I went to the Shoot Smart Fire Range in Grand Prairie, and
Mm-hmm.
my marksmanship was A1. One of the white guys running it asked me, "Have you ever thought about being a teacher?" And I learned how to deal with weapons, firearms, ever since I was a young boy by my uncle Lester. You know, his
And what
street name is
and what happened?
Mr. Stick.
What,
He
what
taught
happened?
me how to. Yeah,
What
go
happened
ahead.
to that? Like, in teaching young boys how to shoot, how to respect the firearm. When did
Right.
we get
Well,
to? But
two words: single mothers.
can you say it again for the Negroes in the back that don't hear you?
And I'll repeat it. Single
Single
mothers.
single mothers. Uh, the thing was, my background is that my dad, Edward Lee Bailey Sr., was a womanizer, a Rolling Stone. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I married man and a Mac at the same time. I decided to talk with my younger brother with what happened with him and his thing. And what I decided to do, I decided to be a honest womanizer. There's been ladies that have been asking me to be their only monogamous man. I said, well, monogamy is not my cup of tea. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
casual polyamorous dude. I've been one since I was 19 years old. And the thing is, it is what it is.
Pretty much. I
Yeah, I
mean,
Yep.
mean, it's like this. I mean, you would be a part of my rotation because if I'm gonna get married, it's gonna be about at least 3 wives and 6 concubines, and I'm gonna let them know what's up. I just got through talking dirty to some folks on Twitter, and I told this lady, "Can we follow each other?" I said, I'll tell you what, you follow me and my instructions. For further instructions, here's my 2 email addresses. Second, um, if you want to be nourished by my PVD-3, nourished to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, what state do you live in, Mac?
I live in Texas, and I was born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. And
Mm,
it's pretty interesting that Arkansas and Texas are sort of like the same sort of cat because of Texarkana used to be known as
Mm-hmm.
the Texas Territory. And here's what I found out: the guy that's training me to be an armed security, um, he said that he'll be able to come and deal with where I'll be able to get my armed security license and my civilian LTR concealed license. And here's the thing: he wants me to be personal protection, like bodyguard, private investigator, and bounty hunter, to the point where I'll be an
yep.
instructor. So he
Yep.
sees
Nice.
my
Exactly.
potential, but I got to
Exactly.
start with armed security first. So I've been getting used to the Dallas scene, man, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm not gonna move back to Arkansas. I've
Yeah. That's
yeah,
what I
because
started. Got my licenses in the mail today
yeah.
for my
Good.
Now
security agency and my private detective.
see because I found out when I engage in the personal protection profession, the personal protection profession, risk management, I would be able to make at least a few $100s a day, like about 300 to 500 a day. But I got to
Wow.
start somewhere on security. And I found out that CSI, the company that's groomed me, not only has an armed security division, they got like a personal protection division, which includes private investigations uh, and bodyguard and bounty hunting. And I'm
Right
also
up the
familiar with
ladder.
boxing. I'm also familiar with boxing and kung fu and self defense. And I also got a gift for taekwondo because one of my mentors, Joy Islam, sent me a book called Taekwondo: Secrets of Korean Karate. So
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
he wants me to read through the book and then practice performance because I already know the horse stance and the cat stance because karate goes back to kung fu. So since I already know the frame as kung fu, I just go ahead and practice the abbreviated version of karate. So that's why I'm doing my best to get my body back in shape and everything. Have you heard of the
Hmm.
form runner? You heard of the form runner, form overweight? He's the one that
No.
deals with like fiction and nonfiction. He gave me a program to help me lose weight to where I'm eating uh, according to my melanated physiology and biology. To where I eat certain foods at certain times, like the fruit at certain times, and I don't eat uh, meat like poultry and fish and shrimp until like in between 12 p.m., 12 a.m. So
Hmm.
what right now I'm right now I'm looking through the BDK catalog and I'm looking at this bug out bags and I'm also looking at some other stuff like this marine knife because I want to be prepared because
You have to be
I
prepared.
yeah because there was this spick that was up there saying the N word real loud and I told him to be quiet and he up there you know was saying he wasn't doing it and then he came at me and I choked him and I told him you wouldn't like it if I called you a wetback spick greaseball greaser or beaner, which now he said, ASL grew up with people who know you haven't
Mm-hmm.
because the hermanos and the hermanos I know know very well not to say the N word in front of me. And then he said he's gonna wait outside. I said, man, you need to wait at home or else you'll be in the hospital or graveyard, because I was about to ready to take him out with my bare hands. And it's just gotten at the point. I mean, because I've learned over the years, because my Native American name is Sun Moon's Epic Peaceful Warrior. I'm also Native American because my mom's side is Choctaw. And the original Native Americans have broad nose, thick lips, and kinky hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because the original Native American had broad nose, thick lips, kinky hair, and high cheekbones. But when these Vikings and Asians came over here, you got like that mongrel look of Native Americans today. So I've been doing some studying. And Charles, I want to say this. The reason why I said the principles of Ma'at and the principles of Hudi are timeless. You know what I'm saying? Those are principles of how to match your inner health to the outer health. Those 7 principles of mental transmutation, that's the foundation for not only the occult and magic, but it's also the foundation for psychiatry, psychotherapy, and psychology. There's a principle of polarity, right? And here's what the doctor will tell you. Okay, the way that you focus your mind. If you don't want to think about pink elements, think about gray elements. Think about the opposite pole, polarity. That book, The Secret, is based on the Kybalion, Hermetic philosophy, and it was written by 3 black men that were trained by Pascal Beverly Randolph. That's why their names weren't mentioned, because they were black. And Pascal Beverly Randolph was the one that brought the occult science over there, and his students, H.P. Blavatsky and Edgar Case, stole it. But the thing about these laws in Texas, I have a better chance of defending myself here in Texas because of the law, to where I be able to, I can, since I don't have a criminal record from Arkansas, I can go ahead to the gun store and buy a weapon right now without a background check.
Yeah.
And it's funny because even when you do it, there's a federal check, but they got to check you state and federal. Anyway.
And see, my record is clean, state and federal.
Yeah, I know.
Because all they got to do is run my Arkansas driver's license. My Arkansas driver's license doesn't expire until August the 15th, 2024, on my 55th birthday.
I just think it's like this. Andrew, you still in there? Let me know if you're still in the chat, Andrew. Because I want to get more people talking about this, because I want to know how people feel about the gun laws, especially people who are black and people who of different ethnicities. Because one, I'm sorry, I grew up in Baltimore, and I'm like, I never wanted to shoot anybody.
I heard that UNC Boogie got rough in Baltimore, man. It's almost just as bad as New York.
I mean, Baltimore is like any city. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's the fact of the matter.
And that attitude, I totally understand, being from a big city myself.
Yeah. And you're originally from what, Chicago, right?
Yes.
And you know what? I have relatives in Chicago on the South Side.
That's where I'm from.
Hey man, there are times when the family units get so bad, I gotta go to the family unit with a bulletproof vest, Kevlar.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. There were some festivals that my sister and I used to go to, but by the time 1987 and 88 hit, we weren't allowed to go. Not allowed to go because people shooting up the joint.
Hey Andrew, I want you to hit the link and come up if you can. I gotta ask you some questions and thank you for your service for being a Marine.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Charles, I got good news, man. I've been applying the Russian tonnage method to my bench press and my squat and deadlift. I'm now able to bench press and squat and deadlift 200 pounds. And
That's great.
I'm also going to like start on the repetition clean press using the barbell and the dumbbells. Because what I do with the dumbbells, I can do repetition clean press and do like a twist and curl as I go up. Well, I'll be able to work my biceps. So there's been some young people that have been watching me work out. I've been asked by white folks, Asian folks, Hispanic folks, and young black folks, how do I keep in shape and everything. And then when they ask me my age, I tell them that I'm 52. I don't look like I'm 52. Some of them said I look like I'm in my 30s and 40s. And what I begin to notice about the health of our people in this country, especially our young folks, there's some young bloods in their 30s that got more gray hairs than me.
Yeah. I didn't have any kind of gray hair until I was 46, and that's when I met my wife. And most of the gray hair that I have is like in my goatee, and I trim it a lot, so not many people can see it. I know I'm gonna have a ways to go before I get back on the weights because I'm just coming off of cancer surgery in April.
Hey, excuse me, sir, brother, what is your name?
For myself?
Yes.
Andrew, last
Andrew,
name. Yes, sir.
My name is Edward Bailey, but
Hey, nice talking to you.
Hey, what's up, Andrew?
Hey guys, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Amy. Yeah, you know the Max, Sir Ism, and Platinum Elite, and DJ Kuda, they gave me the nickname Mac Bones because I'm a Mac that has balls and backbone. Shout out to Al Curry.
Hey, and I did security at the Fairmont. I did security at the Fairmont Miramar, and I was a risk management agent there in Santa Monica, California. So I actually have a lot in common with you with security background.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
How long you been in the Marine Corps?
Have you ever did any bodyguard personal protection work?
No, I was offered some gigs, but I had to do too many hoops and hurdles, so I kind of just backed out of that. But it was more just for like hotel, and for like private yacht, in California. But sir, to answer your question about my service, I joined in 2009, and I ES in 2015. I was a counterintelligence analyst. I was a 0231. So I was out there in Afghanistan 2012 and 2013.
Yeah, you were right in the middle of the muck.
I'd like to tell you about my pedigree. The guy that trained me in praying mantis kung fu is known as Peter Ponsifu. He not only was a CIA NOC, he was also a operative for the Five Dragons, the Dark Army, the 1-8 Dragons. He showed me a picture of one of the Five Dragons, and that was the Chinese guy that financed President Clinton's second presidential campaign.
Very cool.
Nice.
And now here's the thing. The way that Peter was about to train me, he was training me to be an assassin, a kung fu expert like a San Chi. That's how he was training me, to be a living weapon.
So tell me a little bit about your background, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. So mostly security. Well, actually, when I came out of the Marines, it was mostly security in California. I'm from California. I was born in San Diego. My parents are from California, from San Diego, but and I've lived in LA also for many years. But it got to be too much. I was very unhappy there in LA. I was even a bouncer there. So I mean, I got to meet a bunch of celebrities. You'd be surprised how many celebrities like I've met and I know, but just the culture, just the environment, it was very hostile really to anything for an authentic male, you know, for a person who wants to be to eventually have his own family or just be, I don't know, just a contribution to his community. It's just too toxic. So I left California, came here to Yuma, Arizona, which is not too far away, but it's you're in a different state, you know, like what Mac was saying. So it's just different
Right.
opportunities. I actually work in corrections here with juveniles at Yuma, so that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
And say a point, there's a lot of people that have moved down here to Texas from California and New York,
And Arizona here is open carry as well.
and also Baltimore,
How'd you find
Maryland.
the channel?
Honestly, I mean, I followed like Kevin Samuels, and from there it kind of led me down a rabbit hole of a bunch of other different, like, I guess, sort of, you could say, like, I guess, Manosphere or Red Pill channels and
Content creators.
Content creators. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect by saying that. I just meant like that's kind of like the rabbit hole where it took me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was looking at your comments in the chat, and I was like, oh, he must have been a Marine. I'm looking at the uniform, and
Yeah.
I was looking like, so what do you think about the whole Buffalo and Texas thing going on with these active shooters?
Man, an absolute tragedy, and the fact that, well, different scenarios too. I mean, right? I mean, like, I think you spoke on it a little bit, and some other content creators have spoken about how, like, in New York, right, the security guard there was a hero because he put his life on the line, right, to defend the community. But also, just, I feel that we haven't learned lessons from the past. Like, it's how many years that Columbine happened, how many years is, Sandy Hook, and et cetera. I mean, the amount of examples that we have from the past are just too many to count. And the response from the police was unacceptable. And the fact that they're covering up so much information, the fact that information hasn't been allowed to come out, it obviously shows a lack of transparency. I mean, I would know. I wasn't like CIA, but I worked with the CIA as a military intelligence operative. I mean, I was right there, in a small little plane with a bunch of Army Rangers. I was with, Recon. I was with MARSOC. I mean, you want to throw around like all kinds of names, and I was with them. I rolled with them like that, and I know about concealing information, evasiveness, and just withholding, information for the purposes of detraction or misleading. So there's just too many flags there that it stinks to high heaven.
I personally said this as a soldier who spent time in the sandbox in Iraq, as a police officer, former police officer for the city of Baltimore, and now I guess you could say the chief and commander of a security firm. That was piss poor.
Yep.
Those officers took an oath. I don't know how you could live with yourself as a man and call yourself a man and not try to rescue, not even bother to rescue them children.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to post, the picture of the Border Patrol agent who was getting off duty, getting a haircut, borrowed his barber shotgun, and went to go save not only his wife and daughter, but also other children.
True.
And it's funny.
I'm not going.
And it's funny because
Go ahead, man.
It's funny, because it also goes to the red pill part of it. How
right.
A lot of feminists said, but yet it was men who got your ass to safety. It's always men who stand up and above and beyond the call of duty. I look at the Hispanic brother just like the black one, and Buffalo is heroes.
Borgen. You Borgen boy.
Got that Baltimore wireless going on, buddy.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting here talking about this incident with my friends today, my family members, and I was saying, "Look, man, I got a dude in our group. He's in law enforcement. I already know if that would have happened in Baltimore, the only way we'd be talking to Charles Faulkner the next day is if he went in there. Either he's going in there and gonna rescue them kids, or he's gonna be dead tomorrow. It's only gonna be two aspects. Ain't gonna be nobody standing outside."
No standing outside with Dr. Charles.
That is just. I told him, I said, man, and can you imagine? I mean, them little kids, especially like when they told that one girl had called the police 4 times.
Oh my God!
Yeah. What about the little girl who, like, the paramedic was asking her, "Hey, like, I saw the interview. She's like, where you shot? Where you hurt?" And he's like, "I'm not hurt." She said, "This is my best friend's blood on me." She's like, "I used her blood to cover to pretend like I was dead." And you're like, "Well, what's your best friend's name?" And he said his daughter's name.
Oh boy.
And he was just like, oh.
And has everyone seen the footage of the officers that were detaining and arresting the fathers and the mothers and throwing them in cop cars?
Yeah, I told him, I said, here's the question.
not allowing them to get to the school.
What's so bad because they had they had assault rifles on them and they had body armor. No offense, motherfuckers, if you didn't want to take your ass in school, why don't you just hand your guns over to the parents that said they was going in and just say, "Fuck it, y'all go."
Yeah.
And see, but see, the thing is that the Constitution, right? If you look at it like clearly in black and white, that's why we're living in a different time now than like how when it was framed. So when it was framed back then, that society of people, they took care of their own business themselves, right?
Absolutely.
So like they would form their own militia and be like, we're gonna like take care of our own community. We're not waiting for George Washington to march down with his troops, 2-3 hours away to handle business here in our community. If there's a local robber or a local murderer, we're dealing with this here locally ourselves. Mm-hmm. So that was the whole point of the Second Amendment, is that, you're going to have some police or some state regulated peace officers or whatever, but the community itself was more than capable enough by themselves to protect their own.
Well, I mean, to see that, I mean, I don't even know. I sit up here and say, that's why firefighters always will have more respect than police officers. Because last time I checked, them firefighters be going to abandoned houses, just check when them houses catch on fire to make sure ain't nobody was sleeping in there and shit like that. 100% when you walk into a house fire, that fire is going to kill you. These motherfuckers be scared of somebody. I mean, come on now. No offense. If you don't, it's like a firefighter being scared of smoke. What the fuck you scared about being shot for, nigga? You took that job. That's like me being an electrician that's scared of being sparked.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you what I felt with that. There is no way in hell, and I have my body armor and I have my rifle. There is no way in hell you're going to tell me there's screaming kids in there with some maniac who's got a racist fucking. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I said before, white supremacy is not just for white people.
Exactly.
And you want to spew, you're 18 years old with no real life experiences, and you want to spew some fucked up talking points. You're not man enough to go challenge men with guns, but you're going to bitch up and try to shoot children, elementary school children. And here, this is the same shit I have an issue with a lot of active shooters when the police are around. You had Columbine from April of 99 till now. Shit, 23 years?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You had sufficient body armor, sufficient weaponry, sufficient numbers. And people, and I had it in my last stream where I talked about active shooters, where they took us off the street from my department. My shift was taken off the street for a month just to train for active shooter. And it's funny because I'm thinking to myself, like, so none of you motherfuckers got children? nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbors' kids, godchildren, and nobody wanted to go up in there. And whoever the captain, the major, whoever was in control, the lieutenant, whoever was the person in charge giving the order, their ass need to be reamed.
Yep, agree.
Agreed.
And I don't know if you guys know about this, but for us, well, as Marines, integrity is a big thing for Marines. So like when you're in boot camp, you're first, like as soon as you hit the, you hit the field, like that's the big thing. When you hit the fleet, that's a big thing that they push on is integrity. And we were constantly told is that if we relieve an unlawful order, or for us, like boots on the ground, and we see a negative, like that's not the right call, to hell with what the commanding officer or whatever else above chain of command says. We're going to do the right thing. And at the end of the day, when we give our report, we said we did X, Y, and Z because of integrity. And if so long as we show that and it lines up, then it don't matter what the commanding officer said. What we did was the right thing because we were there. We were the ones that had to kick down doors, do the patrols, put our lives on the line. So our decision making is what should matter, not what the brass says.
And that's the problem I have with a lot of that shit. Because police officers are paramilitary units. Regardless of what people think, it's a paramilitary. You have a rank structure, you have a uniform, you have a policy, GO, standard operating procedures, all that good shit. What killed me was this. You can't call yourself a fucking officer, let alone a man, letting children.
Yep.
Imagine how much that little girl is fucked mentally because she had to cover herself with her friend's blood to play dead. How do you live with yourself after that? And now you have all these people, just like in the Army, too many goddamn chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody wants to have a dick measuring contest, but nobody wants to do their fucking job. But yet, you got these fucked up politicians. We need more gun control. What the fuck was gun control and gun-free zones going to do when a maniac wants to commit evil?
Exactly.
What? I mean, really, when 9/11 happened, did we say, oh, we need more terrorist control? Or did we go over there to control the fucking terrorists?
We went over there to hunt down the terrorists.
We went over there to hunt. We
went down over there to hunt terrorists to terrorize us and then destroy them and put them to death for justice.
And I'm thinking to myself.
And Charles, the thing about gun laws, they didn't start having gun laws until after the 13th and 14th Amendment, 1865, in order to keep us under control, because during slavery, they didn't need no gun laws.
Of course. But
the reason why it's more lax there in Texas, because the greatest concentrated population of melanated Americans in this country is in Texas.
Think about it, right? Think about this, right? You had people who were emancipated because historically, even Lincoln had to admit it. If we didn't have those blacks in there whipping ass, we would have lost the war.
Yep.
I mean, it was great motivation. Wait a minute. You giving us guns and we get to go against our farm? Oh, you have me and give us guns. And here's the craziness about it, right? Every time you've seen America go against tyranny, you never seen a little statement, an order, a treaty. No, you've seen a gun.
And gunfire.
Oh yeah. And it's funny when we have this issue in America of like, should the teachers be armed? Well, either the teachers will be armed or let the police back in the schools, which I'm not against, because one, why don't you open up PAL Center? Do what I did for 20 years. Be a coach. I didn't get paid for 20 years to coach wrestling as an assistant. I love the sport and I love teaching it. The sport of wrestling gave me many things. It built up my confidence to the umpteenth medal, multiple championships as a coach and a competitor. Hell, even got a bronze medal in Germany. But guess what? To see how you could build young men's faces and their bodies into men, successful men, you got to get back to where you owed. See, that's the problem with America and the lack of masculinity that is being pervaded.
Yep.
You're giving. Do you really think the fucking soy boy is gonna fucking protect you?
Exactly.
That
Well, you know,
motherfucker's
the thing about it, in war, the sword boy is going to be the first one to die.
or to betray you.
And you know, Charles, like to say a point. I was in the chat with Angry Man and Steve the Dean Williams, and I tried to ask Angry Man a question. I asked him what sort of dynamic can be perpetrated and concentrated in melanated America to further develop and protect the sacredness of authentic Black masculinity in the United States. And I never did get that question answered by Angry Man. So the next time I'll be on a panel with Angry Man, I'm going to ask him that question. I'm going to ask him, what sort of protocols, nationwide, community-wide, do we need to put in place to improve and protect and further empower and strengthen the sanctity of authentic Black masculinity, authentic Black manhood in America amid this sugar think tank, Skittle Squad crisis?
Well, one, let's start with the Gray Faulkner Initiative. Let's
Yeah.
start with the Gray Faulkner Initiative.
Let's start there.
And
Okay.
then on top of that, Philip, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum to all my Muslim brothers. Greetings to all the Christians and shalom to all the Hebrew or
And
Jewish folks.
and Charles Sparkles, don't forget me, the Taoist practitioner, because I follow the way of the dragon and the tiger. So I've been practicing Taoist for 1987, and I'm also a Native American. I practice Native American medicine with myself.
Shout out to the Native Americans. Shout out to the Hispanic Americans. And if I want to point out, one, use the Gray Faulkner Initiative. Shout out to AB Media because he's making a new version, a much more colorful, lively version. The man's a genius with a computer. Number two, did you notice that in the two mass shootings we had in 10 days apart, it was a Black man and a Hispanic man who were the heroes of the day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always.
And I told people this last year. If anybody been following me this long, how long did I say? January 1st, 2021, white people handed you the keys to the kingdom.
Yep.
They can't even trust their own anymore.
I remember you saying that. I definitely remember you saying that.
And fundamentally, think about it. You know, Officer Aaron, that's my brother. I keep forgetting the guy in Texas. That's my brother. Those are guys I'll take to war with me. Those are guys who are honorable men. See, one thing about it is a standard of manhood always come with the price of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that again for the people in the back not listening. The honor of men always starts with the price of sacrifice. Okay?
You know, Mr. Fulton, I have an idea about that. You know, the 9 principles of Bushido, the Warrior's Code. And I remember when Shahzad Ali had about the 7 attributes of a good Black woman. And I came up with the 9 attributes of a great Black man. And I got that from training in martial arts, the 9 principles of Bushido. You know, the wisdom, justice, self-control, kindness, courage, politeness, honor, loyalty, truth. The most important virtue of the Bushido Night Code is truth. Because like Merlin said in Excalibur, the 1981 movie, truth is the most important because with a lie, a man murders the world.
Exactly.
So true.
So I've been trying to contact Teapot and hold a discussion forum about the 9 attributes of great black men based on the 9 principles of the Bushido Code, which comes from ancient Kemet. Because here's what I learned. I remember a mentor of mine named Charles Shipp said he wanted to teach me the way of the mystic. I said, well, Charles, I want to learn the way of the warrior. And he told me the way of the mystic is the way of the warrior. So what I'd like for to happen, Mr. Faulkner, I'd like for you to send me a detailed outline of your Charles Faulkner initiative. And when you're willing to come down here to Texas, Dallas, Texas, I'd be glad to help endorse that here.
Okay, just email me. You see the email and the ticker? Just email me.
And because I wanna train the young boys in like hand-to-hand combat, because I'm familiar with boxing, knife fighting, swordsmanship, and archery.
I mean, heck, doing that for years, man, and it's funny because I'm
and
gonna tell you,
I'm also know kung fu as well, and qigong. Yeah,
you gotta think about it. My family goes back 5 to 6 generations of military service, and that's as far as I can find right now. Probably more.
And that's great for black men.
Yes, it is.
Because if it wasn't for us, they would not win any war ever since the American Revolution, and especially during World War I and World War II.
Yeah, you got to think about it.
Because the Red Tails were highly respected in Germany. They were known as the Africans. Because I remember seeing in the Red Tail movie where that black dude was treated like royalty in that German POW camp.
You got to think about it.
I mean, they were highly respected like movie stars.
You got to think about it, right? I actually went to Germany doing one of my tours for wrestling. They have statues, festivals, and they call the black soldiers over there the liberators, who liberated the Jews out of the internment camps, the worst ones. And they still celebrate them as heroes to this day. And the one thing I've noticed in America today, which also blends to what we're talking about now, is the destruction of the male hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agree.
And notice how even in the MCU, all your male heroes are being replaced by females.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even
I mean, look at the Black Panther Wakanda Forever. They're gonna make Shuri, replace him. Now here's the thing about the comic book. I've been a fan of the Black Panther since 1988, and when I explain to these goofballs, okay, the weakness that T'Challa has is that he does not ask for help, and also when Dr. Doom injured him, he had Shuri as a regent, and then when he got better, he took back over the throne.
Yeah. And remember, when Shuri became Black Panther, she died. And that's the time when T'Challa became the king of the dead. Meaning,
check this out. T'Challa made another deal with Segment, that second Panther god. So he became double strength, Boss and Segment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny because when we look at it, we're teaching boys that, I'm never saying disrespect women just for the sake of disrespecting them.
Right.
If they disrespect you, hey, it's on. They fair game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
that's why I call them a bitch, because they're being one.
Mm-hmm. We know on my channel, there's a difference between a bitch, a lady, and a woman. You get called with you get called with your being. And
hey, I was raised up by my mom to tell the difference, because when I called this young lady a bitch, and she tried one of my mom asked this young lady this question. Well, was you acting like one or being one? That was funny. Okay, my son called you bitch. So was you acting one and being one?
And that's ultimately what we got to think about. Look at what these 2 shooters were. They were a bunch of white supremacists. Even the guy who was Hispanic was the shooter. He was a white supremacist. And instead of actually having mentorships for young boys to prevent this, one, and actually having young men who are ready and able to defend not only the country, the state, but their local municipalities, you're developing these soy boys who said, well, fuck the world, I'm going to make it burn. And I do
Mm-hmm.
agree with Coolio Noir when he said,
You know, that's the interesting thing about the Joker and the Batman movie, The Dark Knight. He's the soy boy that wants the whole world to burn because the world won't let him have his way without having to work hard for it.
Hey, and gentlemen, what are your guys' perspectives on like well, a lot of these younger what is it, Gen Z is what they're called or something, that they're like become like incels, right? So they self contain themselves. They don't have the social skills. They didn't go out and have failures or successes. Whether if it's in the football field or playing basketball or interacting with other people, other kids, so that they're lacking so many dynamic social skills that they're hearing all kinds of voices because they're only like stuck in the internet world. You know what I'm saying? Like, what impact does that affect on their masculinity, on top of the fact that they're already being, right, like the single mother epidemic? I feel like those are all contributors. I'm not saying that anything is like, oh, okay, well,
And
that
the
explains it.
masculinity is slowly being erased.
Correct, because of the whole woman must be the hero. She must be the strong one.
Mm-hmm. The masculinity of today, especially in the young guys, is being erased.
Yeah.
And it's being erased en masse.
Yep.
Yeah. I think also too, the problem is that I'm reading a book right now. It was written back in 1994. It was called The Feminist Class, right? The Feminist Class. And basically this book, we're teaching professors also who were teaching other, teachers in the public educational system to basically emasculate young boys. And so a lot of times if you guys notice this, when you hear a lot of young guys, well, I feel like, well, I mean, you from a certain generation, we didn't say I feel like, we would say I think, or I know, or my logic is saying this.
Exactly.
And the problem is that when you were talking about the Gen Xers and the Gen Zs and Gen Xers, I think that to organize them or starting to get them to embrace their masculinity, right? Okay, and going back to what the brother said, the brother who's living in Dallas, he said the reason why you were having a lot of heinous crimes is because one of the group problem is from single parenting. So could you imagine if you say, as a community we say, hey, look, we know you're a single mom, but we need your young son and my young son, if you will, they need to be future protectors. So if we had where they organized for hand-to-hand combat, learning how to shoot a gun, uh, and those type of things, it would never happen because, well, I don't want my baby to learn that. That's violence, and it takes violence. It takes violence. Okay, I mean, you're going against a violent individual. It takes violence to eradicate that other violence. Okay, you're not going to talk somebody out of violence. Okay, you got to eradicate.
Once they made that decision of violence, there's no turning back.
There's no turning
back. I'm not even going to say it's very, very hard to turn back because I'll say it again, once they made that decision, that's it. They're walking the plank.
Oh yeah, they're gonna walk the plank. They walking the plank. They're definitely walking the plank.
Well, Charles, I'm gonna have to go because I'm fading fast, and I apologize. I sincerely apologize. I'm hoping we can do this again, like either later this week or early next week.
Okay, I'll just hit you up on the back in the background. Hit me up, call me, or I'll call you, and we'll link up and we'll pick a date.
Okay. And guys, I will leave you with this. as a cancer survivor, get checked and get checked often.
Hey, facts.
Wow.
Facts.
Because my wife was told to prepare me for a casket down in North Carolina, and she said nope, and I said nope, and we came up here to Indiana, got a second opinion, and this past April I had surgery, and now I'm in the process. Now I'm in the process of recovering.
All right. Good deal. Good deal, brother.
And don't forget, you know my old saying: when you leave,
Yes, I do.
go kiss Jody on the cheek and say hello.
I will
Hey,
do
excuse me,
that.
Mr. Parker. I was about to tell him there's certain foods that are anti-cancerous. Eat
Yeah,
some grapes, the dark ones. Eat also berries like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. Also the watermelon. The watermelon is the
right.
biggest berry in the berry family. So eat the watermelon by itself. Be sure to do some fasting off of meat and junk food 7 days a month. You know, and stay away from pork and beef because pork and
Yes.
beef are cancer causing meats. The best
Yeah,
meat to eat
and they
is
give
a
and they give
poultry
my
fish.
stomach a lot of problems. I had some fish earlier, but Charles will link up later this week so I can fully introduce my project 100 Days to Carolina, and we'll do a fundraiser, and I'm thinking Friday. So
Okay.
we'll try Friday, and we'll set up a time
Sweet.
where I can
We'll
really
probably do
launch it.
Monday. We'll probably do Monday because I'll be on Dr. Neal's channel doing
Okay.
an interview.
Okay. Monday it is. Monday it
Oh,
is. We'll make that the launch night,
cool.
and I'll make sure I send you all the details. But I gotta get to bed. Jody's got to get up in the morning, and I got to get up for my radio show. I'm sorry I couldn't go longer, but I got to make sure I take care of my body so I can get some rest.
Hey, you do that, man.
All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate
All
you.
right, brother.
I appreciate you all.
All right. Yeah. And Judge Dre, when Dre, you still there? You're probably busy.
For myself?
Dre.
Oh, it's okay.
Hey, Dre. Oh, he's probably busy. I know Electrician 408 is on the building. What do you take about the lack of masculinity? And I think it played a part in both of these shootings, like a lack of checks and balances and masculinity. What would your take on it?
You know, it's funny you talked about masculinity, and the first thing that came to my mind was when we were denied so much to be in the military, but yet we were the biggest heroes in the military. And I think about the Harlem Hellcats. Man, these guys, they were no joke, no joke. And I think when I look at this situation, what's been happening, in the one situation we had the officer died, the security officer died in Buffalo, trying to take this guy down, and we had the Latino parent who came in, you know, and rescuing his children. And I'm just thinking that our society has been, our masculinity has just been such removed that people uh, who are not right in their mind, or if they're practicing white supremacist ideology and trying to take out our children, take out our people of our various communities. I just really want to say, man, is that I think that ought to say where we at, particularly as in the black community, we really lack the not being a hero. I'm not trying to be a hero, but I believe in protecting my community. Every man has that instinct. Every man should have an instinct of being of protecting, and I don't see it anymore. I really don't see it anymore.
You're right about that.
I just don't see it anymore.
Well, but
Okay.
unfortunately, you don't see it anymore because basically, I'm like this: the men have pretty much got no say so in the community and stuff like that. And unfortunately, we're gonna have you like you see these shootings and stuff like this. I hate to say, but these things are going to become quite common. I mean, I hate to say that it's quite common because when you take the males around, you take the males away, and then you try to raise some of these boys like that, like in the female version, and then you try to baby them, don't tell them like that. They don't realize the pecking order. Then what happens is they get older, and then they realize they get older. They're stronger than the women who were supposedly protecting them, but the men are gone because the men who were trying to whip the children into shape were pushed away and ran off. Now you got these bad these bad young men with fucked up in the head, and now you're sitting up here and you're trying to tell them once they snap, who are they going to go off on? They're going to take it out on the women in the community.
Yep.
And now you women are going to be, well, we see right this, yet you men are doing bad. But no offense, the men who were trying to whip them into shape and get them on the right track, you ran them off. And these are like technically they're a product of the environment that you made. You can't tell a boy that, oh no, don't let nobody tell you to do nothing, this, that, and the other, because men realize that there are rules and pecking orders and all that type of stuff. Correct. I know that, hey, I can't talk shit to a 300-something pound dude and tell him all types of this, that, and the other, and think that I'm gonna probably be walk out alive.
Because there's consequences.
Right, there's consequences. But when you tell a person, when you try to raise men like women, then once that happens, once that strength thing kicks over and that testosterone thing kicks in, then you wonder why they snapped and did all that other crap. You didn't treat them like that for so long, and then once that anger finally boiled over, now you can't control it because you ain't never controlled it all his life. So when these things like this happen, and you wonder why, but you done told him all his life, don't let nobody tell you what to do, and you don't have to listen to this person, you don't have to do this. No, technically you got to listen to everybody. It's people that I don't know that maybe I don't like, but the person is bigger than me or able to do something that I can't do. Sometimes you gotta bite the bullet and give that person a certain level of respect.
See, I'm glad you said that, right?
You know, one thing I learned in practicing, Northern 7-Star Praying Mantis Kung Fu. I remember when Peter Ponsifu had a talk with me for about an hour about dealing with anger, and one of the mantras and anchors that I learned is that the most powerful fighters are not angry. The thing about anger is a byproduct of a feeling of powerlessness. Everything's beyond your control, even what you're feeling inside. And that's so reminded me about, picturing my anger as a hot temperature, but picturing not being angry as cold ice. Because when water gets cold at a zero temperature, it becomes harder and harder to break. And see, this is what I learned. I learned that there are times when you're full of anger, you got to learn how to take some deep breathing to cool yourself down, because your breathing is connected to your emotional and mental state. And that's what I was doing in being a boxing coach at LA Fitness. I was teaching folks on how to breathe, and I explained to the young ones that the reason why you're losing wind because you're not mastering the wind in yourself through breathing. And one of the guys named JD wanted me to demonstrate, and he sparred with me, a 51-year-old back then. And I told him, I said, well, you're in too much of a hurry to hit without breathing. And I sparred with an 18-year-old named Eric of Lifestyle Fitness Production. I was able to take the hits and give him some real good hits. He was surprised that I was 51 years old. He said, sir, you're 51? Yeah, I'm 51. But I've been a practitioner of boxing ever since my early 20s.
I'll tell you this one thing. I had wrestlers who always came with me with anger issues. The teachers, the parents be like, such as anger issues. I said, I know what the cure to anger issues is. Toss around the room. Eventually, you're gonna learn the lesson. It's funny. The guy kept trying to overpower me, so I just hit him with a hip throw. Boom. He came up against me. I hit him with a shoulder throw. Oh my God! Boom! I hit him with a headlock. Boom! I hit him with a double leg, picked him up, and drilled him with my shoulder right to his abdomen. Boom. And then after about 20 some odd throws, he got the message. You know, what's the point of being, look at you, you're angry, you're getting beat up. And I just sat on him while I talked to him. Oh,
Right.
I sat on him while I had him in an armbar. But I said, look at what's going on. When he realized it, he became the calmest guy ever. I said, it's no different than going to basic training. You think you fuck up that drill instructor. You think you can do that. Oh,
Find
see,
a world of pain. Find a world of pain.
oh yeah. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia. Home of the infantry. All male. And it's funny because a lot of those guys, I bet you I can kick his ass. Next thing you know, this one guy said, okay. The drill sergeant took off his jacket and was like, you know what, we privates now. So the guy tried to swing, he hit him with a spinning fucking, like a spinning wheel kick. Boom, right in the chest. You know, lessons are learned. And see, when you try to tell young men and not introduce them to like, okay, you got to talk it out, you got to fight it out, you got to talk it out, yell it out, fight it out, then it's out of our system. And you renege this from the school system, which I believe in a lot of these schools it should be single sex education, you know, all male school, all girl school. Because when the boys wanted to fight on our team, okay, you get to fight, close them doors. You look out for the athletic director. All right, y'all fight. Let them fight for 2-3 minutes, let them worn out. Now, because y'all fighting over something petty, the whole team jumps on you. And then I come in and I said, so what did we learn? You don't fight your brother for petty shit.
Right.
If you're fighting him because he's about to make a stupid decision like sell drugs or bring a weapon to school, okay. But if you're doing some petty argument shit, you know, that's for the fucking birds. But at the same time, how many lives would still be on Earth if we actually let the boys fight in a controlled environment? How much? You go ahead and talk about it.
Actually, gentlemen, if I may, real quick, Charles, I want to thank you for letting me get on the platform with you here tonight, and all you gentlemen as well. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. It was a blast, and I'm very honored. And everyone's points and your insights are exactly what we need to start addressing masculinity and so many of the problems, right, to protect and safeguard our communities. Like I mentioned before, I'm a juvenile detention officer, so actually I got to get ready to go to work tonight because I work with some of the most, I guess, most in need or most endangered kids in the community here in Yuma. So I'm gonna just give you guys my leave and say good night, and hopefully I can come on again here in the future.
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't be a stranger.
Already did subscribe. I already shared on Facebook. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for your experience and your service. Ooh, be safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, Charles, that's the thing about, that's the reason. See, that's the reason about me and everything, because my dream was to have a boxing martial arts academy where I was only training young black boys. And I had a talk with my friend Joe about being a teacher. I said, well, if I'm going to be a teacher, it's going to be in the curriculum that I manage and I control according to our melanated cultural principles, not according to the Eurocentric principles that they push in the public schools to miseducate our melanated youth.
Yeah,
I think that's a great concept. I think that's great.
Go ahead, electrician. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I think that's a great concept. I think, and not only with young black boys. Hey, man, I'll be 50 this year, and if I had the opportunity to learn some self defense or whatever, I would gladly take it. I mean, I do have the Marine martial arts book upstairs, and let me tell you, I learned a lot. I mean, just reading it, man, you learn a lot. But I would love to, just to practice it, and it's just unfortunate that most of the schools here, they won't take guys my age. They'll take women, but they won't take guys my age for some reason.
Yeah, and it's crazy because being an electrician for how many goddamn years? You have so
30.
much to teach. 30. You pretty much got a PhD in the motherfucker.
And
Pretty much.
it's crazy because we devalue what men bring to the table. See, this is the reason why I'm always harping on women. You gotta bring it. Why? Because a man, even the most lackluster man, you're gonna get some form of protection.
That's right.
Yeah, if
Right.
something happens, at least he's gonna get his ass kicked, and you're gonna be the one screaming. He's the one taking the lumps, not you. And it dwells back into like when I was coaching wrestling, MMA, boxing, and it was funny because there's sometimes I'll mix them both up. Do a 1-2, throw a 1-2 hook or knee, and then do a sprawl. Do that about 10 to 20 times. To warm up the body, get your calisthenics in, and think about
Hmm.
it. The more you teach boys hand-to-hand combat, the less likely they're going to pick up a gun in anger.
That's right.
Right.
And we got away from that severely because of this infeminization of boys. And look what's happening. You cannot overcome nature. Yes, you can nurture some things, but nature's gonna creep his ugly head, as we found out with two of these guys. These guys were the less than. They felt that they were being picked on. They were the ones being. Oh, one was trying to be a bully, but everybody laughed at him trying to bully people. Then you go to an elementary school that has nothing to do with you and unleash shit, or a shopping center to a bunch of innocent people. And that's because you have an inadequacy in masculinity. You failed yourself and failed getting a teacher. See, back in the day, men used to search out their senseis, their sifus, their coaches, their teachers, their mentors. They used to search out for them.
Yes.
And for some
You,
odd
you know,
reason,
there's an old ancient Kemetic saying: when the student is ready, the master teacher will appear. Life is the real master teacher.
yeah. And we got away from that shit because on a scale, we're wondering what's gonna happen the next 2 years. Not even 20. We can't even bridge and say we're gonna colonize the moon or Mars in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. No, we gotta worry about dumb motherfuckers shooting up a fucking elementary school.
You know what? I also think about going back to what we talked about masculinity. If you could imagine if China or if there was a out of the Middle East army, and the thing is that like we said, they're trying to eliminate masculinity. What's going to happen? I think honestly that we will be the United States of America will be a prime victim of other countries coming in because they're not emasculating their men. They're strengthening their men. Look at the China army. I mean, how big is the
Well,
China
well, well.
army
You
now?
know, in China, it's against the law to push LGBTQ propaganda and also
Mm,
feminist propaganda over there.
yeah,
And see, that's the thing about masculinity. Masculinity is active, dynamic, and ordered, while femininity is receptive, passive, and chaos.
yep,
Like I explained to Mella too, that the essence of female nature is manipulation, drama, and chaos, and passive and receptive. And that was the thing. I mean, what made me what made me able to calm down Mella was my masculinity. And she said that I got her open. I said, well, it's because of the way I talk to you, the way my vibration is. And I explained to these young folks, like I explained to the women, masculine men are attracted to and willingly protect feminine women. Feminine
All day.
women, this for the fellas. feminine women are attracted to and willing to submit to masculine men. Masculine is yang, feminine is yin. It says in the Tao of the King, know the masculine, yet to the feminine. Yes.
I've dealt with Mela so many times, and it's like, look, Mela, you're gonna have to stop while the men are talking. You really are. And she was like, "What's your name?" No, you're gonna have to stop while the men are talking because one, I had to tell many of females this. Like Mama Access, she said, in order for me to be a guy, he's got to be fiscally responsible. No, in order for you to be with a guy, you need to be responsible before you meet him. Because when you're telling me this, you're a liability.
Facts.
And Charles, that's my selection criteria: assets and liabilities. Because I remember this attention whore was trying to trap me on Twitter, and I asked her this question: Are you an asset or a liability?
Many of them don't.
That's my selection criteria for women, especially black women.
And many of them don't want to answer that because it's going to be telltale signs against them. Because first and foremost, you spending up all the money, and then why can't we get this? Why can't we get it? It's because you fucked it up.
She mismanaged the money.
Yeah, especially
I'm
a starting business guy, and I'm like, look, I can't afford for you to fucking fuck up money. Who the fuck said you're the princess or the queen of Sheba? No, you need to come down to reality and stop being so. Well, a man should always. I should be lost in my thoughts. I said no. A man is supposed to set you in reality, not allow you to be lost in your thoughts.
And the problem
see, the thing about it, a pig that dwells in the mansion is still a pig.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think a lot of females forget that shit due to the failure of it. And when you ultimately look at it, a female has to adhere to the first rule of protection, which is obedience. Okay?
In other words, cooperation with the operation of the man's protocols, mission, and authority.
Exactly. Oh, that's the man telling me what to do. Well, you want him to put his life on the line so he earned the right to do so.
That's what makes you want to put your life on the line, because when you see, the problem is that a lot of times they'll say, well, I want the protection, but I want to do what I want to do. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. When you in line with what's going on with me, and you will get that protection. Hell, you get the ultimate sacrifice, me laying my life down. But when you do what you want to do, you automatically fall out of the protection. You automatically fall out the protection. And you're gonna see how hard it is without my protection.
Right.
And that's the number one rule. The lack of protection is gonna be faulty. And when you have that faulty mindset, you're gonna be victimized. Unfortunately, I don't wish that on anybody, but that's what happens when you put yourself out in situations you have no business being. Well, this guy's supposed to protect me. Yes, you're supposed to respect him for putting his life out on the line.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I told these, goofy black heifers, every time you put another race of men on the pedestal and say that your black men ain't shit, other races of women, other nationalities of women are laughing at you as a collective of women on a daily basis.
Facts.
And the thing is, these stupid heifers will only demand to deal with the select black men, but they will date the non-select and pre-select of other races. Shout out to Ron Wills. The reason why I don't like the term alpha and beta, that goes back to homosexual Greek culture, to where the older homosexual dude was the alpha, and then the young homosexual dude was the beta. And the way that they selected their lovers in the Coliseum, the older guy would smack the younger guy on the booty, and that was sort of like a tradition pushed in football locker room. And that's interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
and then I said this in one of the comments: the select black man and the thinking black man are one of the same person.
I don't think they want that because that man. They want a man they can manipulate like a guard dog.
And see, that's why they date the Pookies and Ray Rays, because the Pookies and Ray Rays are dysfunctional. And the reason why Boonquisha is attracted to Pookie, and the reason why Lemon-Quisha is attracted to Waiter, because they're both fucked up, they're both dysfunctional. There's no way that dysfunctional. There's no way that dysfunctional woman is attracted to a healthy man, and there's no way that dysfunctional man is attracted to a healthy woman.
Nope, because they're going to be settling them down, and they don't want to be settled.
Right.
That's true. I mean, I couldn't disagree with that at all because I think that one of the problems in our community is that when you have successful black men who speak their mind, who tell you like it is, who tell you what reality is, a lot of
Like
women
me.
have a problem. Yeah, they have a problem
Yeah.
with it. But at the same time, I also notice that when you tell them like it is, they're like, "Oh my God!" I mean, but a lot of them. Now I've had some situations where they were like, "Oh my God, I never had a guy talk to me like this, or tell me the truth, or tell me reality." Okay, and then I had a certain, particularly with women who got pretty, what I say, pretty privilege. They didn't want to live in that la la land. You know what, baby? Go ahead, keep living in that
Yeah.
la la land, and I'm gonna keep it moving. And the thing is that, hey, look, everybody on this panel knows there's a sucker out there. There's a sucker out there who gonna feed into that Disneyland stuff day in and day out. But see, here's what I say about when you look feeding that Disneyland to them all, and just reassuring what they feel or what they feel on that Disneyland. That Disneyland movie is definitely gonna stop. The credits is gonna run. What you gonna do then? You
I mean,
understand what I'm saying?
that Disneyland is nothing but blue pill philosophy.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. I mean,
All
when
it
you
is.
really, look at it, awareness is not a pill. Being red pills is about being truly aware of what's going on around you. Because, like I tell these young folks, don't just be red pill about women. Be red pill about politics. Be red pill about
And that's
religion. Be red pill about philosophy. Be red pill about civics. Be red pill about what's really going on behind the occult interdimensional scenes. Learn how to be red pill beyond religion, because the religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, keep you from being god, a god man and a god woman. They keep you a slave.
I
See,
say
that's
that.
the thing. See, that's the thing. Enlightened beings don't need to go to a temple, church, or synagogue to actualize the divine within them. They just be, because the enlightened are being, others are becoming.
I like to say this: as long as whatever you believe in, as long as that makes you a better individual, hey, I'm all for it.
Right.
There's many
Yeah.
lights to lead to the same path. Because
Right.
a lot of people who are Buddhist, Shinto, Taoist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, hey, they're gonna, especially if they're honestly devout about their beliefs, are probably some of the best people to be around. Even if they have comedic studies, some people are the best people to be around, and some people are the worst. It's up to that individual.
Charles, the thing I admire about the Taoist and Zen Buddhist monks, especially about the Wu Dan and Shaolin monks, they fought against oppression and tyranny when the Japanese came.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was seen a Taoist master or a Shaolin master, see what's happening in slavery, they would have stepped up and used their martial arts skills to free those slaves.
Yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
according to Buddhism, every sentient being has the right to have the blessed state of life and liberty and enlightenment
Exactly.
and awakening.
And
Yes,
trust me, when you look at the true versions of religion, even in Christianity, they say, "Love thy brother like you will love thyself."
right,
And there's many times we got to become men of our words and men of the word, because a
right,
lot of people confuse. Well, I don't have to, like, I'm a conscientious objector. No, because there are some people who are truly conscientious objectors, and they still went to war. They still help out the efforts. They might not have picked up a rifle, but they galvanized, men within the spiritual belief systems, and it's
right.
because of it. I know. Shoot, about to hit in the house. Take my medication. Call it a night, folks. And that's where
Hey, Charles, what is your email again?
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, I got you. I'll go ahead and look at my iPad right quick. I'm out of my YouTube app right now. So see.
Put it in the chat right here.
Hey,
And
hey, Charles, how old are you?
40.
I'm 52. I'll be
Oh yeah.
53 in August 15th of this year.
40, but the mind of somebody probably 50. Probably had so much experience. Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Any last words, fellas?
Well,
Great talk.
I will say this. The thing is, your mind is the alchemist, which shapes the molecules that manifest your reality. So you just change the structure of the molecules, you change your reality. Your mind is the alchemist, which shapes the molecules of your reality. And I'll just leave it off with that. Peace.
Peace. Electrician.
Yeah, great talk. I appreciate you as always for letting me on the panel. Let's just keep working together. I think we can be great defenders of our communities.
Yes.
Um, I truly believe that, and just let's embrace our masculinity, our black masculinity to its fullest, and brother being united with our brothers in various communities, and let's keep pushing forward, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you for Andrew coming up. See, we're multifaceted. As long as you got the same wavelength and the same mindset, we don't mind you coming up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, brother.
Because,
Take it easy.
hey, take it easy, man.
All right.
And I like to say, look, we got to become more in depth in our masculinity, because you never know who needs it. Never be afraid to stand against tyranny. Never be afraid to stand up for the truth. Protect the children, because protecting the children means you're protecting our future. So next time, woo, we are out.
Woo!